solve two ways worksheet. I'm going to start with number 2. When I look at this, I know I can't factor it because 3, the biggest I can get would be a 4. 3 and 1 are not going to make 10 anyhow. So two ways: you could either complete the square or use quadratic formula. I can always use quadratic formula, and I think you need practice completing the square. So I'm going to complete the square. Move the 3 to the other side. This constant's already 1. Take half of the middle term and square it. Add to both sides. So I made a factor. A plus 5 squared equals 28.
Gabrielle Bridgemakers, to the Welcome Center, please. Gabrielle Bridge.
Take the square root of both sides. A plus 5 square root of 28, which is radical 4 times radical 7. So A equals negative 5 plus 2 radical 7, negative 5 minus 2 radical 7. The other method to graph or to do this would be the quadratic formula. I would suggest you do for a second way. Skip down here, number 5. Common error is it's factored, and so common error is to try to set them equal to 20, see what makes it 28, or do weird stuff like that. You need to multiply this back out. So I have x squared minus 5 plus 7 is x squared plus 2x minus 35 equals 28. Bring the 28 over. X squared plus 2x minus 63. So we're looking to see if we can factor, I know 9 and 7. Give me 63. If I make the 9 positive, the 7 negative, x equals negative 9, positive 7. Check it out. Plug in negative 9, you get negative 2, negative 14. That works. Plug in 7, you get 14 and 2. Again, you'd have some choice on how you do this. I would say probably x squared plus 2x equals 63 would be completing the square. It's a pretty easy way to complete the square because you have a perfect square then. So solving it from here will take you down to that answer there. Let's go right here. Before you can do any kind of solving, you need to make sure that you distribute with your proportion. Make sure you distribute all the way through. More dangerous is when you have a 5 and an x plus 2 here. Number 10, I would move everything to the other side. Oh, then you see there's no, then you go see there's no b term. So actually I don't need to do that. Just subtract 8 from both sides. Easier than you think, plus or minus. You might wonder, how else could I do this problem? Well, you could, if you have this b squared minus 100, that factors into b minus 10, b plus 10. So positive and negative 10. On the back, more review at graphing. So it says graph the quadratic, then solve using another method. So I'm going to find the vertex. Opposite of b over 2a. So x coordinate is 2. Plug in the y coordinate. Negative 2 times 2 squared plus 8 times 2 minus 6. So negative 8 plus 16 minus 6. So 2, 2 is my vertex, and it's negative, so and it's a 2, so instead of 1, 3, 5, negative 2, negative 6, negative 10. So over 1, down 2, over 1, down 2, over 1, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got symmetry here. It's making sure everything lines up. I know the y-intercept is negative 6. So my two solutions are 3 and 1. And if you know that they're integer numbers, then that means this could factor if you're trying to verify your answer. I'm going to go back up to number 14 and try to show you another method. So looking at everything's already solved, I know I can always do quadratic formula. I'm going to try to factor, see if we can get our factors here. So both methods, this is not a very good one for the diamond or Xbox, whatever you use, because the number's big, but if you're using that method exclusively, then you got to be able to figure some of those things out. If you are guessing and checking at this point, I know 15, I'm going to use 5 and 3. I could use 15 and 1, but really that's the case, 5 and 3. And 16, I could do 4 and 4, 8 and 2, 6 and 1. I'm going to start out with 4 and 4. Start out usually towards the middle. Now I'm just going to look at, there's my 12, 12 and 20. I know I can come up with 8. I need a negative 8. So I put the negative with my 4 and the positive with my 12. Negative 20 plus 12, negative 8. Set it equal to 0. So your solution's negative 4/5 and 4/3. Over here, if you were doing your guess and check method, when you have a big number, you have to have a technique that you're using. I know 20 goes in there 12 times. That's 240, but you might not get there right away. And then you get your 20 and your 12, negative 20 plus 12, and you work from there. If you're using this method, you got to know how to finish that out. One last one on this video. Jump down to number 17, graphing method. Find the vertex, opposite of B, over 2A. So 1/2 times 2 squared minus 2 times 2 minus 2. 4, that's 2 minus 4 is negative 2, negative 4. And I'll plot my point, 2, negative 4. Depending on what I need, how much extra information I put on right now, it didn't ask me to give all the special stuff. So I like to still think about the axis of symmetry to make sure everything lines up. Because you know, if you have a y-intercept of negative 2, which I do, that means that we're over here as well. So I got my vertex. Instead of 1, 3, 5, I'm doing 1/2, 3/2, 5/2. So over 1, up 1/2, over 1, up 1.5, and over 1, up 2.5. Over 1, everything else just has symmetry. Unfortunately, when we go to sketch it, and then we have to solve, I know it's between 4 and 5 over here and 0 and negative 1 over here, but you can't see the answer. So probably don't want to complete the square because I have to take a half out. I would just go to the quadratic formula. Opposite of b, plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. And then simplify from there. You could also complete the square if you want. So this is 2. So 4 minus negative 4, which is 8. So 2 plus or minus 2 radical 2 over 1. So 2 plus radical 2, 2 minus radical 2. Video's getting a little too long. Let's just check. 2 plus square root of 2, 3.41. Oh, sorry, 2 plus 2 square root of 2. 4.82. So your answer makes sense. You can still use your calculator to help you that way. So there's your 2 zeros.